All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim and to the elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth and faith and in all sincerity. I'm their brother Shemala from the GMS Houston camp, and this lesson is going to be entitled Examining the Sufferings of Paul. And yeah, I was just up, um, getting some reading in, and part of my the chapters that I'm reading right now. I'm reading I was reading Joshua and Second Corinthians, and I was reading through Second Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and I was just going into you know just meditating upon Paul's sufferings that he was going through in this chapter, and when you read in this chapter, Paul, was basically, how can I say, because the Corinthians, they were basically, questioning, his authority, and they were letting other people, false teachers, get in their ear, about certain things. That's why when you read up, he went into right here, the second verse, right? 2 Corinthians 11:2, it says, "For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Yahushua. But I fear lest by any means that the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahushua." So he worried about their minds, being corrupted, from the truth. All right, as what happened, back in Genesis, right, with Eve and the serpent, which was a man, right? But it says, "For if ye that cometh preacheth another Yahushua whom we have not preached, or if ye received another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, ye might bear well with him." And you read this in the NLT, right? It says, you happily put up with whatever anyone tells you, even if they preach a different Yahushua than the one we preach, or a different kind of spirit than the one you receive, right? Or a different kind of gospel than the one you believe. All right. So I said they basically was just kind of just believing anything and putting up with, whatever dudes was teaching. Okay. And, they were basically, like I said, questioning Paul's authority, because of, you had these false teachers around getting in their head and all the particular things, right? So Paul is basically kind of like defending himself. All right. For lack of better words, right? He's going to start going into, the things, that he suffered in this thing. And he's going into, his mannerisms, so to speak, with dealing with the church of Corinth, right? On how that he receives money, from other churches, right? Just so he could preach the gospel unto them, without, getting money from them. So he's kind of like just making a defense for himself. And he's says many times, right, that bear with him in his folly, right? He's gonna boast a little bit, basically. Okay. But let's just start here. 2 Corinthians 11:22, right? It says, "Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Yahushua? I speak as a fool. I am more." All right. So now he's kind of like he said, he's speaking in his folly, you know, but he's comparing himself, because he's talking about those basically the teachers that that they will basically letting get in their minds, right? When you read verse 19 of that, it says, "For ye suffer fools gladly, seeing ye yourselves are wise." So they was just dealing with these type of people, So he was kind of getting pissed off, right? That's why he said he had godly jealousy over them. But like he says, "Are the Hebrews, so am I? Are the Israelites, so am I? Are they the seed of Abraham, so am I? Are they the ministers of Yahushua? I speak as a fool. I am more, and labor is more abundant." So Paul, he said, "Bro, like shit, I'm putting in work. Hey, you can read it. Hey, Paul wrote most of the New Testament. He got most of the New Testament books, right? And Paul was journeying everywhere, bro. Paul, he's telling the truth. He is, all right. He was doing a lot of work and stripes above measure, meaning, bro, he was getting he was getting beat, many times than you can even count. All right, in prisons more frequently, so he was being locked up, right? And this is all just for preaching the word of Yahweh, right? For preaching this word, all right, going into the scriptures. All right. Hey, this was something, that a lot of people were against back then. The rulers and the governors, right? Caesars, all the particular things, right? This was a crime, all right. And he said he was getting locked up a lot, right? Going to prison and deaths often, right? Meaning he suffered many times to where, basically life and death situations. All right. It says of the Jews, 5 times received by 40 stripes, save one. All right. And this goes back to the law. It was Deuteronomy 25:3, to where, you were an individual will receive, 40 stripes, right? It couldn't exceed over 40 stripes, right? For a particular punishment. Okay. And I remember the apostles, the heart went into that. Like if they went above that, the dude probably, most likely would have died. All right. But it says of the Jews, 5 times received thy 40 stripes, save one. Meaning they stopped at 39. It says that they did this, because they didn't want to accidentally go over 40. So they just stopped at 39. And they punished him for preaching the gospel. All right. I think it's Deuteronomy 25:3. All right. They basically gave him that judgment, right, for preaching the gospel. All right, of his own people, right? It says thrice was I beaten with rods. So he was beaten. He said 3 times beaten with rods. Bro, this is some painful stuff, bro. You can think about it like, bro, these weren't no love taps. All right. They weren't taking it easy. You probably getting beat upside the head, knots everywhere, bro. All right. Probably with missing teeth. Bro, just think about it, bro. Like, bro, you just getting beat. Bro, most people would just tap out. Like, nah, man, I can't do this, man. But when you think about it, man, Yahweh Shai came directly to Paul and talked with him and showed him things and showed him revelations, right? Paul, right, he died and came back. He's seen the spiritual realm, right? So Paul's faith was on another level. Right? A man who was, once against, the teachings of, the Messiah. Hey, bro, he just started going hard in it, right? All right, he was doing more than everybody, right? That didn't diminish anybody or anything like that, or any of the other apostles, right? But just the Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai just put, a particular spirit on this man to do what he did. All right. Yahweh Shai said, man, hey, this is a chosen vessel unto me. Right. He said, once I was stoned, right? And this was the time when he actually, died, right? But the Lord put his spirit back into his body. All right. He said, thrice I suffered shipwreck. Now, when you think about a shipwreck, man, that's when, you're in the sea, right? And bro, the ship might hit a rock or something, or, it gets damaged, badly, right? And you just drifting in the sea, right? It might be as bad as to where the ship falls apart, right? And you just holding on to a piece of wood, right, or whatever, bro, until you hit land. All right. That's why I said, at night and a day I have been in the deep. All right. So he's suffering, bro. And you see Paul, he traveled a lot. Right. That's why I said the next verse, in journeys often. So he said, thrice I suffered shipwreck, bro. So he was bro, he was going through it, man. Hey, that's some crazy stuff right there, man. Cause I don't even like the water, bro. So just one time, man, that would have been tough for me, man. Just being a bro. Just imagine just being in the sea, bro. No land nearby, bro. You just drifting on a piece of wood, bro. That's some serious stuff right there, man. And his faith was there. All right. Probably like, man, the Lord got me, bro. I ain't got to worry about nothing. That's really the type of faith that we gotta have. All right. Even when the disciples on the ship, when the water was coming out on the ship, Yahweh Shai was asleep. They woke him up. And they was like, man, we about to die, bro. Y'all shot like, bro, come on, bro, man. Y'all faith at, man. Right? But it says in journeys often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers. So I mean, bro, he was a got a damn near got robbed a couple times, right? Probably did, right? It says in perils of robbers. All right. So he probably got robbed a couple times. All right. Sometimes he probably got away or whatever, but he just said he was in danger to them. All right. So this is what he had to worry about. In prayers of my own countrymen, right? His own people, right? Persecuting him from what he was teaching. Right. In prayers about the heathen, right? So even the heathen. So this is basically all around, right? Catching hell, being persecuted. In prayers in the city, in prayers in the wilderness. So he was in the wilderness a couple times, right? And in the wilderness, bro, it ain't, bro, you need to know how to live out there, right? You going through the wilderness, bro, because it's barely anything out there, right? And it's a lot of wild animals and all of that. So it's a lot of dangers that you got to worry about. In prayers in the sea, in prayers amongst false brothers. So it was people that Paul thought that was his brothers, right? That was in this thing with him, right? Betrayed him. Okay. So you just got to think about like suffering all of this stuff, bro, people would have tapped out, right? Like mentally, bro, you would be like drained and exhausted, bro. Like fuck, I'm going through all of this. Just imagine all of this pressure like this. It says in weariness and painfulness. So he was exhausted. He was tired. All right, and watching is often. So he had a lot of sleepless nights, right, and hunger and thirst. So it sounds that shit. He didn't eat like that. Okay, that's why it says in fastings often, right? And I would assume that it's not talking about actual just fasting on purpose, right? Which he probably did it a couple times, but he's going to the things that he suffered, so he probably a lot of times didn't have no choice but to really fast. All right, and cold and the nakedness, so he suffered from the weather, right? The conditions, the weather, right? And sometimes he probably didn't have the proper clothing, to clothe himself for whatever weather it was. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, he had to suffer the cold. So man, this is this is a lot, bro. It says, besides those things that were without, that coming upon me daily, to care for all the churches. So out of all of this that he's going through, right? He said, besides all that, I still had to worry about the church. I still had to worry about this work. I still had to get the work in. I still had to do all of this. All right, so this is just something that we should consider, man, when we going through things, right? Because we didn't even reach these heights yet, bro. What's going to happen and what's going to come, right? It hasn't even came yet. It hasn't even reached its heights, right? The scriptures say we haven't suffered or resisted unto blood. All right. So, man, whatever we going through, whatever trials and tribulations, whatever suffering, man, it's gonna be tough, bro. You don't think this was tough on Paul? You don't think he could have gave up, but he kept going. So, whatever we going through, man, you gotta know we got a job to do. All right. That's why these things are written to know what like this is what it's about. All right. Where it says, who is weak and I am not weak, who is offended and I burn not, if I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern my infirmity. So he was glorying in his weaknesses and the things that he was suffering. All right. That was the same energy that the apostles was in when they got beat. All right. By the I believe it was the Sanhedrin. All right, when they got basically brought up to council and they got beat for preaching in the name of Yahweh, you know, they basically said that they gloried in being able to suffer for his namesake. It said, the God and Father of our Lord Yahweh, which is blessed forevermore, knoweth that I lie not. In Damascus, the governor of Aretas, the king, kept the city of Damascus, right? Scanes with the garrison desires to apprehend me. So the governor, right, in Damascus, set up soldiers around the city to try to catch Paul because of what he was teaching. All right. Says it through a window and the basket was like let down by the wall and escaped his hand. So, bro, he was going through a lot for this. And he kept going, and he kept going hard, and he kept teaching, and he kept the faith. Right. That's why he said, "What I finished my course as a crown laid up for me." Right. Based on he put in the work. He said, "Man, hey, shit, I gotta make it." That's how much confidence he had because of everything that he was going through. Right. And I just wanted to do a quick lesson on that. Just to show that, man, through all of the pain, through all the suffering, man, Paul still, you know, held on and stayed strong in the faith and still put in the work for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? Still was concerned and edifying and building up the churches. All right. So hey, I hope this lesson was edifying. With that, hey, I'm gonna say shalom.